that dream where you're walking naked down the street.
Nothing more horrific than thinking of Jennifer Love Huge Tits walking down the street naked, huh?
No, I mean, we'll get into that whenever we discuss that. You talk about glow ups. I mean,
Oh
she
my
had one between
God.
these two movies.
Within a year. Aren't these movies like a year apart? Well,
Yeah,
probably
1 year
2
apart.
years. Well,
But yeah.
Well, because I guess she looked like she did, and then I guess a year later another film came out, so probably less than a year.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Death Holler. I'm your host and the hook-handed psychopath, the Reverend Dr. Death, and joining me as always is Llreyna. How was your 4th of July?
It was
Llreyna?
explosive, literally. I am here to say that Californians, they're not listening anymore. You want to take the fun fireworks away from them, and they're like, fuck you. It's my day of freedom, and I'm going to take it. Now, I haven't heard of any crazy fires or anything that have occurred from any, whether they be homemade or absolutely legal in a different state fireworks that I may or may not have had. But, yeah, it was an explosive. It was actually the first time in a long time I actually had a good 4th of July because I'm so fucking unimpressed with 4th of July. California fireworks suck donkey balls.
Here's some sparklers and a snake.
Yeah.
Have fun, kids.
And for anyone out there, if you have any kind of laws against certain fireworks and things like that, if you miss the old days when you used to step on a hot metal sparkler, Reverend, I don't know if that's a thing that happened to you in the past.
I didn't. I was always afraid of fireworks to a certain extent. I gave them the wide berth that I felt like they deserved.
Okay. Stepping on metal sparklers is something most kids, it's a trauma you have to experience as a kid. Nothing like stepping on a hot piece of metal. That'll really fucking fuck you up in your world, and you just continue on with the night like nothing ever happened. But those have been illegal for a long time. They are legal. Every state, they are legal. If you go to, weddingsparklers.com, I believe that's what it's called. Do what you want with that information. They are the longest metal sparklers I've ever seen in my entire life. That's what she said. And they also last a long time. That's what she said. In fact, they last so long, you get bored. You're like, okay, where's the bucket of water? I want to be done with this. It goes on so long.
Yeah, we can pretty much like get whatever we want here, especially if we, at really any time of year if we really wanted to, because we can just hop over to Jellicoe Mountain and go to Tennessee and get it. But they're rednecks and hillbillies. They like to shoot their guns in addition to just shooting off fireworks. So that happens around here too.
Well, like I said, I don't live in the city, but I live in the burbs, and we don't do that in the burbs. So, but plenty of fireworks going off. In fact, if we didn't want, we're probably not going to be buying anymore because there's this little bodunk town in Nevada. It literally, their whole life is selling fireworks, 365 days a year. That's what they do. And they're very quality fireworks. They are so quality because Nevada's got it locked down. They have it to where they live in a desert, so they don't want to set shit on fire. So they have this weird encasing where the explosion still happens, but when the rest of the firework falls to the ground, it's in like some like clay casing so that it cools off and doesn't catch anything on fire.
Did you see that? I saw it on TikTok where there was like some place out in California where they were like doing the like cities fireworks, and the whole show like went off at the same time, and it was like for 25. The show that should have took 30 minutes to see happened in 25 seconds,
and it looked like
Yeah, it looks like a supernova went off because I mean it was just brightness is all you could see.
Oh, that's hella funny. That's what you get for being stupid. I didn't know it was in California. I thought I read Arizona, but maybe
I saw California on the one I was looking at, but whatever. I mean, it regardless.
It seems like a California thing. We get real excited, okay, when we're about to see things that we don't get to see, we don't get to do. That's a thing. So yes. 4th of July. Lots of explosions, no slashing though, you know?
Well, as the last of the fireworks began to ignite overhead, we failed to notice the hooded figure with a hook hand closing in on us. Our stalker has timed his kill to perfectly coincide with the constant barrage of explosions, smothering our screams. In the confusion that follows, no one will see the figure as he slips back under the cover of night. Thus, the legend of the hook continues. Born of an urban legend, the particulars of the story about a hook-handed killer change with each telling. However, one thing remains the same, the story's ability to scare its audience. We've already covered one iteration of the Hook Killer, the Candyman, but this episode we will review two other versions of the myth, Lover's Lane from 1999 and I Know What You Did Last Summer and its sequel from 97 and 98 respectively. So what are you waiting for?
Shut up.
Pull up a chair, grill some hot dogs, and let's celebrate America's independence with some horror films.
Yes.
But first, if you're enjoying the podcast, we would appreciate it if you could take the time to like, comment, and subscribe on whatever podcast platform you prefer. It helps us get more visibility on podcast listings and helps us grow. Also, consider following us on social media. You can find us on TikTok and Twitter under Death Holler Pod, and we can be found on Instagram and Facebook under Death Holler Podcast. We appreciate everyone who listens and hope you enjoy the show. Attack those bees.
What is that? What is that? What is it? Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah! Open my eyes!
I have a confession.
I didn't actually scream that this time, which is good.
You didn't, really? Because I'll tell you what, I did. I watched this movie, not all the way through.
You watched Lover's Lane?
I watched as far as I could make it.
Well, that's good because I'll have somebody to bounce this off of for once.
Yeah, for the first time in, I don't know, this is like number 2 I've ever watched.
Lover's Lane from 1999. I would like to call this movie Baby's First Slasher is what I would like to call it. If it wasn't for the tits in this movie, this is literally a movie you could show like a 5-year-old.
Probably,
and, like,
yeah.
Horror movies.
Yeah, they'd probably be bored to death, though.
I don't know. A kid that age might get something out of it.
Maybe, yeah.
Taglines: Don't get hooked.
That's a good one. That's a good one, actually.
Yep, and this was funny. And the tradition of I Know What You Did Last Summer, which was what they put on the UK VHS cover of this movie.
Dirty.
Which I find hilarious. That does connect it to this very well.
Yeah.
Directed by John Stephen Ward, written by Jeff Miller and Rory Veal, music by B.C. Smith. Principal players, we have Erin J. Dean playing Mandy Anderson and also her mother, Harriet Anderson, as both the final girl and her dead mother in different scenes. If you got the same actress and you don't have to pay her anything extra, use her for her, mother's part. I mean, whenever she was a kid. We got Ed Bailey playing Ray Hennessy, who is our slasher, in quotation marks. He's not, folks. We'll get to the killer here in a minute. Riley Smith plays Michael Lampson, who is the love interest of Mandy. Matt Reedy plays Sheriff Tom Anderson, who is the father to Mandy and the widowed husband of Harriet.
Ooh, that was rough.
Yeah, it's a hell of a way to find your wife when you're the sheriff, whenever she's been disemboweled because she's been fucking the high school teacher's husband, or at least that seems that way.
Yeah.
While you had the kid out one night and you were just talking about how you want to meet up with her later.
Yeah, we're gonna go pick up your mom. Yeah, you are. Yeah. Off the ground
in a body bag.
Yeah.
Richard Sanders plays Dr. Jack Greff, who's the psychologist and the father of Chloe. Spoiler alert, folks, the psychologist is the killer in this movie because he is actually the one who was in love with the sheriff's wife. She spurned him, and he set up the thing to make to kill them both, to kill her and the one that she was confiding in, which was, I still don't know why she was confiding in the husband of the teacher, but regardless, they say at the end of the movie that there was nothing going on between the two of them, and Dr. Jack Greff made it appear that way, and he killed him, and then he got off scot-free.
Wow.
While he blamed it on Ray Hennessy, and then spent years convincing Ray Hennessy that he was the hook-handed killer.
I was wondering, okay, I'm so glad you said that, because I was wondering why at some point of the movie, he was like, why did you do that? Why did you feel that way? And it felt like it was more not questioning, but putting it in his head. And I was what's happening? Okay, so I didn't finish the movie, as you could tell. So, okay, please continue.
And it's funny, too, because there's a scene in the movie where it shows that the psychologist has the hook in question that was used to kill these people on his desk in a glass jar as like a trophy or, like a paperweight. That right there, like when I saw that scene, I'm like, why the fuck do you have that? Like, I mean, shouldn't that have been in the police custody, first of all?
Yeah.
Secondly, that's kind of morbid. I mean, if you're, I mean, it didn't sit right with me. The whole entire movie, I'm like, that's not right. But anyways.
I digress.
Brian Almond plays Ward Lampson, who is the father of Riley. And then he seemed to be having an affair with Harriet. But as we've said, he really wasn't. Still don't know why he was talking to her, but that's a whole different thing. Mike Shapiro plays Deputy David Schwick, who is a horn dog cop that likes underage girls, which is kind of nasty.
Yeah.
Did you see that scene in the diner?
The cafe. Okay. Yeah. That was I'll tell you what, his facial expression spot on. He did a really good job acting that scene. He did.
I mean, he was one step away from just whipping it out and beating it there in front of everybody. I mean,
or joining the fucking table. I don't know.
Yeah, he might have been up for an Eiffel Tower or something, so who knows. But I
like how nobody else in that cafe noticed what was going on, though.
Yeah, she's just sitting there straddling that kid and basically like dry humping him, and then everybody's like, oh, kids, that's what they do nowadays in the 80s.
Oh, these kids as a whole fucking family is behind them eating.
Or the 90s, whenever this was said, I don't know. But
definitely 1999, maybe filmed in 1998. The fucking clothes matched the time. I felt like I had time warped back in the day.
This movie, before we get to the rest of the characters, it felt like an after-school special that you've seen back in the day. It did. I mean, I'm not saying that in a bad way. It actually, the funny thing is, the guys who made this movie did TV movies, so it makes perfect sense that this movie feels that way because that's what they did. You know? They just got tired of they said on the special features of what I was listening to, they got tired of the studios limiting what they could do within their movies, so they just decided to make a movie. But it seems like they couldn't get away from the TV movie of the week that they were used to making, because that's what this movie feels like. Ben Indra plays Bradley, who cucks Michael. He is the one that's getting dry humped by Chloe in the diner. And he was Anna Faris's real husband at one point in time, shortly after this movie was made.
Wow.
Yeah, that was before she, I don't know why she left him, but then she hopped on Chris Pratt's dick, and then she hopped on some other dick, and that's the reason they separated. So I don't know. She likes to have her fun's, all I can say.
Hot dad bod Star-Lord. All I know him by.
Colin F. Peacock plays Tim, who's the boyfriend of Kathy. Anna Faris, her first movie role is in this. Playing Janelle Bay, who is the new girl and a cheerleader and a friend of Mandy in the movie. She has one of the worst deaths in the movie, though, whenever I cover what happened to her. They don't show it, so you don't get to see it, but, I mean, it's the worst one in the movie. Billy O'Sullivan plays Doug, the Joker of the teens. Megan Hunt, not Mike Hunt, but Megan Hunt, plays Kathy, the girlfriend of Tim. Steve Schweikert plays Old Man Yasgur, and then Joyce Schweikert plays, which I guess they were husband and wife, which that's convenient.
Schweikert.
Schweikert.
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, that sounds real familiar. I don't know who would have that last name. Plays Mrs. Yasgur, and they were the owners of the house that their bodies are found.
Okay.
Which is a little hint about this movie. Almost all the deaths occur off screen, and then somebody finds the dead bodies later.
Boo.
So that's why it's like your baby's first slasher, because there's only like 2 or 3 people that actually get actively slashed in this movie or hooked, and then everybody else is like their bloody corpse is found later, which it's okay if if you're not really looking for gore, but like gore hounds are not impressed by that.
Yeah.
And then Sarah Lancaster plays Chloe Griff, who is the mean hot girl and daughter of a psychologist. Now, to be fair, Anna Faris is the only one in the movie that like made any kind of like, the guy who played the sheriff wasn't too bad. I mean, as a character actor, but Anna Faris is the only one, like we talked about with Leprechaun with Jennifer Aniston. When you saw Anna Faris in this movie, it's like you were drawn to her. It's like there's something about her, like she's got potential, which she obviously did. Went on the Scary Movie, but she's the only one in this movie that really does that. Sarah Lancaster only stands out because, I mean, she's not bad to look at, and she flops her tits out in the movie. That's literally all she has going for her. Yeah,
she's definitely got a body yaddy on her. Like she was on her thought shit in this fucking movie. So
yeah, I mean, and everybody else is just kind of, I mean, I don't even remember half the people in the movie otherwise. I mean,
there was a Zach Morrison wannabe looking motherfucker in there, and
yeah, that was the Michael Lampson character or actor, and then or the character, I guess, and then Dr. Jack Griff. That Richard Sanders was actually a character actor, so when I saw him, I kind of, but still, I mean, Anna Faris was the one that stood out in this movie, and it wasn't because I was looking for her. It's just she, that was how it was. Synopsis for this movie: based upon the urban legend, a couple of teens are making out at Lover's Lane when they are attacked by a hook-wielding madman. They aren't killed, but they do find that the sheriff's wife and a local teacher's husband were murdered while seemingly having a romantic tryst. Several years later, the madman escapes the local mental institution, or does he, and begins targeting the children of those that locked him up. Hooks are slashing, tits are flashing, and teens are dropping like flies. Just remember, there is no such thing as safe sex.
Good Lord.
That's a tagline, which I thought was funny because I was like, I was told there is such thing as safe sex. So
yeah, I'm so confused. So wait, so we just shouldn't try at all is what you're telling me?
Yeah, just don't even put a condom on. Yeah, you're going to get hurt regardless. Body count in this movie is respectable, actually. 14 counted and 16 not counted, although a lot of them are off screen, so not too excited. Ward is slashed with a hook off screen. Harriet is hooked off screen. Mr. Hastings is hooked off screen. Mel Shop Clerk is hooked off screen. See the pattern, folks?
Yes.
Deputy David Schwick is one of the few in the movie. He's hooked through the head and has a little bit of blood going on, so that's decent. Brad has his throat cut off screen. Tim is hooked by the hook.
Whoa.
Janelle, that's Anna Faris, folks, is hooked in the vagina.
Whoa. Off screen. So wait, how do we know? It was when you found her, was blood all over her cheerleading skirt?
I think it was implied, and they cut away really quick, but it was like the way that she was gashed. Her gash was gashed,
Her gash was gashed.
That's what I'm saying. Like that, she has the word. And you know who killed her in this movie? It was Hook Jr. It was that Chloe. The only death Chloe has in the entire movie. I mean, bitch is hardcore. When she kills you, she goes for your fucking genitals. She don't.
God damn.
Yeah, she just rips the vagina, that fine vagina.
Fine vagina. Okay, you know what? That is it. I'm shutting it down. The podcast. Fucking. Where's the fucking
good night,
music?
Everybody.
Yeah, that's it. Fucking fine vagina.
Doug is knifed through both legs by the hook. Kathy dies in a car crash, and that's Michael's fault in a car accident. Old man Yasgur and his wife are hooked off screen again. Chloe is actually hooked in the face by her father. That's actually a pretty good scene toward the end of the movie. And then Dr. Jack Griff himself, after being burnt in earlier in the movie and having half his face kind of melted off, he is stabbed in the back with a hook by Mandy, which is a good way for the final girl to take him out because she takes his implement of death and kills him with it. The only problem is uncounted, and this is the ending that I don't like, and we already seen this in New Year's Evil. Very similar scene, actually. So at the end of the movie, Sheriff Reedy gets in the car. He's talking to the principal now, who was the teacher. Him and her both lost their spouses back in the day. Thinking they were cheating. So it kind of hints that there's something romantic going on between the two of them. And they're, they've rescued their kids, so everything's fine. But Ray Hennessy's not to be found. And the final scene is that Mandy and Michael both get in a cop car, and the cop who's driving the car just happens to reach out to grab the car door with a hook and closes it and drives off with them into the woods.
Yeah.
So it's uncounted. It's assumed that Mandy and Michael could have been killed by Ray after years of being gaslit by Dr. Jack Greff that he was the hook killer. He finally becomes the hook killer and kills our heroes of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't like those endings. I hate whenever they do that. Trivia for this: Anna Faris appeared in this film a year before she would appear in Scary Movie. So this was like her intro movie. And remember when we talked about Scary Movie, she was on the verge of leaving Hollywood when she got that part. So this movie did nothing for her career. She applied for Scary Movie, and if she hadn't got it, she would have did something totally different.
Damn.
Lover's Lane was supposed to be filmed at Mount Si High School in Snoqualmie, Washington.
The fuck?
Yeah, I don't know how you say that. But due to several real-life student deaths, including a triple murder, the school decided it wouldn't be appropriate to film or to be associated with this movie and backed out of it.
Fucking think?
Eric J. Dean played both Mandy Anderson and her mother, and she was credited as Ann Jeter in her role as Harriet because that's an anagram of Aaron J. Dean. So,
oh my God.
I don't know why they did that, but
wait, you're telling me the girl with the butterfly clips in her hair,
mm-hmm.
the frumpy looking body because she was wearing some frumpy ass clothes, was the tits at the beginning of the film? Movie.
Yeah, she played the hot mom that was dead in the car at the beginning of it.
She didn't. They did a good job because the hot mom was blonde in the car. Yeah. Yes. Wait. Was she the mom that got slashed or the one that was showing her tits?
No, she.
Okay.
She was the teens that were in the car. There was the scenes beginning of it where there was two teens, one showing her tits, and they were ample. So they're not. I mean, the tits in this movie are not bad. I'll give them that for what they show, which is actually more than our next set of movies showed. So at least this movie got that right. But when the teens get get attacked, they run in this other car that's there. They think that it's somebody that'll help them, and they find the dead bodies. So she was one of the dead bodies.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
And then, of course, Anna Faris and Ben Idra met on the set of the film, and they were married from 2004 to 2008. What's your review on the movie? And I'll give mine and the Nick Cage rating that I normally give it.
I didn't even make it up to the deaths because, I saw a few deaths at the beginning, but I think we were about to see the pervert cop get killed. I think.
Yes.
And that's when I was like, okay, I'm out of here. I had just come from 2 movies back to back that I thought that the acting was pretty bad, and then this movie came along. So that's my thoughts. Nicolas Cage rating? I don't have enough Nicolas Cage films in my fucking arsenal to shoot one off.
That's fine. I always look him up to kind of compare what he's been in. I'm going to give this Amos and Andrew because it's a fine movie, but it's forgettable, just like Amos and Andrew. Does anybody remember that movie from Nick Cage?
Never heard of it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and this movie is the same way. I'll actually say that the acting by certain people in this movie is better than the acting in a certain set of movies that we're getting ready to review, if you catch my drift. So,
I suppose.
Yeah, well, just when we get to the talking about the people who did the bad acting in the 2 movies that we're mainly discussing, we'll see if you agree with me. I'm not saying across the board the acting's bad because they actually have some decent actors in some of those movies, but there is one actor in particular, holy hell, cannot act. And I would take Anna Faris in this movie over that person any day, regardless of the fact if this was her first movie or not.
Maybe I know who you're talking about, but we'll probably get into that when we start reviewing.
Yeah. So let's just get into that. I Know What You Did Last Summer from 1996. That wasn't the movie I watched. from 1990. I watched Cruel Intentions. Well, you basically watched the best actors from this movie then, if that's what you did. From 1997.
God, we're gonna beg to differ on so many things in this movie.
You don't think? Okay.
Okay, let's just keep going. Let's roll.
All right. Tagline. The mistake they made is coming back to haunt them.
Too many words. Too long, didn't read.
There's a bunch more.
Okay.
There's like 20 taglines, so we'll see if you like some of the other ones. Directed by Jim Gillespie, written by Kevin Williamson, if you'll remember, folks, who also wrote Scream. This was actually written before Scream, but he couldn't get it made. And then once Scream came out, they were beating down his door, and he was like, I got this. And they're like, all right, let's make it.
Look who's hot shit now.
Yeah, and Lois Duncan, which she wrote the book that this was based off of, and she hated this movie.
Wow.
Because her book did not have deaths in it, and she thought this was too crass of a movie.
Oh, shut up, Lois.
Music by John Debney, made for a budget of $17 million. The reason this got a sequel, folks, is because it made $125.3 million.
An explosion of fucking money.
Yeah, on this movie.
Yeah.
Principal players: Jennifer Love Hewitt, which will be forever remembered in the rest of this podcast as Huge Tits.
Yes, thank you, Llreyna.
Plays Julie James. But which, by the way, I think they call her Jennifer Love Huge Tits in was it Knocked Up with Seth Rogen? I think one of them calls her that in that movie.
No, I don't believe you. I swore I was the one who made I know she's been called for it by four. There's no way no one else in this world has called her Jennifer Love Huge Tits. I thought that I had created because I had not heard, but I had seen Knocked Up, so I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's in Knocked Up if you go back and you look that up. But anyways, she's our final girl, folks, and I think that there was another actress in this movie that should have been chosen as the final girl, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
She was obviously in The Ghost Whisperer and all the episodes that went along with that TV show.
Love that. I love that show so much.
There was actually another person in this movie that was on the episode of that show that we'll get to in just a second, but she's got a very small part in Tropic Thunder, which is my favorite comedy probably of all time.
Okay, wait, who was she in Tropic Thunder? I don't remember.
She played herself on like a very short scene, like accepting an award or something right before Tug Speedman got his or something.
Okay.
You know? She was in the Garfield movies.
Jesus Christ.
And Can't Hardly Wait, which is a very good coming of age 1990s,
well, especially for us.
Romantic. I mean, and Heartbreakers, which I feel like you like that movie. Maybe not.
I did. I like that movie a lot. Me and my mom used to get a big old kick out of it because, I mean, Sigourney Weaver was hot in that movie.
Sigourney Weaver's hot in a lot of movies. Have you seen her in that movie, Galaxy Quest? Oh God!
Yeah. And I don't know. I think the reason. Well, you got to remember, folks. My mom is only 17 years older than me, so I think my mom for a long time had that super hot mom situation going on with me, also being young and coming into myself.
So she thought that you all could pull Heartbreakers off and go around and rob a bunch of rich guys or whatever.
I don't think she thought that. I think we could relate though to a hot mom, hot daughter situation and the mom just fucking driving the daughter crazy. I can relate anyways.
And of course, Jennifer Love Hewitt, or Huge Tits, was actually a singer even before she really became famous in movies. So I mean, she's got a lot of songs to her credit.
She's a vocalist. She was also in The Client List if you want to see her half naked in every episode. So 2 seasons of that. I loved that show.
Muse Watson plays Benjamin Willis, who is our hook slasher in this movie. He was in Diary of a Lunatic, The Dead Ones, Valley of Bones, Suburban Gothic, which I think I did a little summation in our first season of this podcast. And he was in one episode of The Ghost Whisperer, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
As an uncredited role because, of course, him and Jennifer Love Huge Tits were reunited on her big show or whatever.
That's
so I'm sure everybody got a kick out of that. And then, of course, the movie Black Rainbow. The worst actor in this fucking movie.
Okay, we will agree on this one.
Freddie Prinze Jr. playing Ray Bronson as the fisherman and boyfriend of Julie.
I don't know what to say about him because I never thought he was good looking. Like maybe in a goofy, cute kind of way, he might get a pass, or a good boyfriend or nice guy pass. You know what's
hilarious about him? Sarah Michelle Gellar married him, and the whole entire time I was sitting there thinking that David Boreanaz was in this movie, and then I realized it's Freddie Prinze Jr. But that's because they look alike. And then I got to thinking, I was like, did she really have an attraction to David Boreanaz? But then like he wouldn't like reciprocate or something. And she just like, and she had a type. So like it, because there's something about the two of them. I mean, that to me like strike a similar vibe. Like I don't
tall and dark.
Yeah, like the tall guys with dark hair, kind of. I mean, like I don't know, like it's just something about them just hit the same chord.
Oh my God, they are the exact same height. I mean, David Boreanaz is obviously way more swole, because Freddie Prinze has a body type I would not go for, which is that lean, lanky, and David Boreanaz has that thick boy, stature. So. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Freddie Prinze doesn't remind me of David Boreanaz at all. He's just kind of goofy to me. And he's goofy in an adorable way, but I would never have imagined putting up a poster of him on my wall,
Here's my question, getting back to what we just discussed on Lover's Lane.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that Anna Faris in that movie is a better actress in that movie than Freddie Prinze Jr. is in this? Because I sure as fuck think so.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. Because I have things to say about another actor in the film, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But Freddie Prinze 100% was the worst actor. And then I was trying to think of every film he's been in, including Scooby-Doo, where he's not necessarily supposed to be the best actor, but more or less supposed to be comedic. And I'm like, why? I think he just got a pass because his wife was in the movie.
The only thing he's done that is acting that is actually of some worth is his voice acting that he's done for various things.
Okay.
In particular, Star Wars Rebels, where he plays I can never remember like Karis Jan or Jane Carrot. Well, I can't remember the character's name.
I know who you're talking about. I don't know why I can't.
But anyways, he actually does a good voice acting as that character. He emotes and stuff. He is terrible in this fucking movie. Like, I mean, he is flat. He is like, I mean, he looks like this lost puppy that don't know where the fuck he's at throughout most of the movie. Every time I saw him come on screen, I just like rolled my eyes. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me again with this guy.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand him.
He was also in She's All That. And the associated music video that went along with that, Kiss Me.
What? Oh yeah! Oh my God! I forgot about
Sixpence None the Richer. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my Jesus Christ.
He's got a very small part in Clerks 3, which even if you think, and I agree with you if you think this, that Kevin Smith has become just a crying bitch in recent years. He has. Clerks 3 is actually a good movie. I will give him credit for that. It's emotional. It's if you like the original Clerks, or its first couple, actually, it's worth rounding out the last movie of the series. And there's a little funny part with Freddie Prinze Jr. Where he's auditioning for like a role in the movie within movie they're making, basically. Because in Clerks 3 they're making Clerks 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was in a Netflix Hallmark style Christmas movie recently called Christmas with You.
I didn't catch that. I need to.
Hopefully he's a better actor now. I'm not going to count on it.
Well, in those movies, you definitely don't have to be a good actress. Amy Garcia's in it. You know who she is, right? She was the Mexican. She was in Lucifer. She was the.
Oh, okay. She was the CSI chick or whatever.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
So it's him and her as love interest. Okay, I want to see that now.
Anne Heche, R.I.P., played in this movie as Melissa Egan, David's sister in the movie. She was in. This has to be a post-mortem release. You're Killing Me from 2023. Because that's a rough name.
Yeah.
If anybody didn't know Anne Heche, I don't know what was wrong with her. She got in 2 car crashes in the same day and then died like very shortly there. I mean, she got in a car crash. The officers asked if she was all right. She kind of mumbled some things, got back in her car. They didn't detain her. I don't know why they let her go. And then she went from that site to another site, got in another car accident that same day, and then had some kind of brain issue and died that evening.
Yeah.
And that was like end of last year, early this year that happened. Like, it's been very recent. She was also in The Vanished and in we've already covered this movie, the Psycho 1998 remake with Vince Vaughn.
She was definitely the main character of that film because I think she did a good job.
Yeah, she was one of the few people, but yeah, I'm not a fan of her acting career, but I mean, and I'm not going to speak ill of her, but there was something messed up with it, like how what happened to her, like in her final day.
100%. It's weird. Definitely conspiracy theories afloating for sure.
Yeah. Jonathan Quint plays David Egan, who is thought to be the victim killer through most of the movie. He's the kid that you see on the rocks at the beginning of the movie, like for all of like maybe 20 seconds, and then you never see him again, except in photos for the rest of the film. Johnny Galecki plays Max, who is a friend-zoned pal to Julie and the blue-collar kid in the movie. And I really hate how he gets taken out because he has jack all shit to do with a killer, yet he gets killed because of
that didn't make any sense.
I mean, if the guy's getting revenge, why go after Max? Max had the only thing you could use an excuse is like he pulled up and he could have done something, but he didn't know. Like, the way it was framed, they were puking off the side of the road. He saw the car was banged up, but he thought they just ran into the little hillside that was beside the road. Like, there was no reason to kill him in this movie whatsoever. Of course, he was on Roseanne for years. I mean, he played the boyfriend, the one, Roseanne's like daughter or whatever, like her middle daughter, and then he was, of course, Leonard Hofstadter in Big Bang Theory. Played in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation as Russ. I was
wondering. Okay. Oh my God. I was like, was he the son? He was. That was a good role for him. He got to see his dad flirting with the lingerie lady.
He's like, "Hey, Dad," and he's like, "Hey, Russ." He was in that horrible Rings sequel in 2017 that we've kind of alluded to, but never bothered to watch, either one of us. He was in the movie Prancer back in the day. I mean, that's another big Christmas movie, although I've never watched it.
Yeah.
And he was in music videos, surprisingly, for both Bob Seger and Dave Matthews Band.
Wow. Okay.
Those are big names. I mean, Ryan Felipe, or Philippi, however you want to say it, plays Barry Cox, who is the rich jock asshole and former boyfriend to Helen, who was in Cruel Intentions, The Lincoln Lawyer, MacGruber, Gosford Park, and Crimson Tide, and he cheated on Reese Witherspoon with a nanny.
Oh, you dumb motherfucker. And he's been in some trouble for fucking beating his ex-girlfriends. Like, well, them breaking up with him and getting restraining orders on him because he fucking beat them or got violent with them. It's like, bruh, what are you doing?
The funny thing is that of the two male actors in this movie that you see the most of, he is the strongest actor. He should have been the final girl's boyfriend and play that role because... I'm sorry, he's a better actor than Freddie Prinze Jr. He is.
Yeah, but I think he played the asshole way better.
He did. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't think Freddie Prinze Jr. could have played the asshole that well. Mm-mm. But between the two of them, I mean, you sacrifice your good actor like halfway through the movie, give or take, and then you're stuck with Freddie Prinze Jr.'s stupid ass for the rest of the film. I mean,
the rest of the films. Ryan Felipe, I really thought his acting was poor too. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think his acting was great. It was better than Freddie Prinze, but what are we comparing it to?
Well, now here's the thing. I'll agree with you. He was not the best in this movie. He was greater than Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yes.
But he's pretty damn good in Cruel Intentions.
Yes, he's good in Cruel Intentions. I will give him that. So, yes, Cruel Intentions aside, for some reason in this film, I was like, what the fuck are we watching? An episode of Saved by the Bell?
He did. It's funny because the actor that we covered on Scary Movie that played this character, basically the one that had the small penis that everybody made fun of, played this. I mean, just as well as Ryan Felipe, and it was perfect. Like when I was watching this, I was like, I want to see the other guy. Actually,
thank you. I agree with you. I would have rather seen that. Oh my god, and I did not know this, but Ryan Felipe, he looks so fucking tall in this movie. He's only like 5'9" or something like that.
I figured he was a short guy. He just kind of gives those vibes.
Yeah,
off,
and
like
Freddie
really
Prinze is 6'1" and obviously just towers over him. And then I'm thinking, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say one thing that pisses me off about this movie. So Johnny Galecki is supposed to be the blue collar kid who stayed behind and after high school and worked the as a fisherman on the docks.
Yeah.
Ryan Felipe kicking his ass pissed me off because I know that Ryan Felipe is supposed to be like some kind of jock or whatever that works out all the time. But Johnny Galecki should have blue collar workman strength. He should have fought back better than he did.
I agree with you on that. I didn't think about that until now, but
I mean, he's lifting all those crates with all those all the ice and all the he's going to have his own, even if it's wiry. Those guys you don't fight with on they're fishermen.
100%. But you know what? I want to bring up one more thing too. Okay, if he was supposed to have. Maybe this is really out of context of what we're talking about, but I do not understand this town and everybody wearing their fucking slickers 24/7 standing in the middle of a fucking parade. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, look over. It's like, hey, that's Bob, and he's in his fisherman slickers.
Yeah,
it's that's just common. We don't take them off whenever we leave the docks or anything.
No, we wear these 24/7. Okay.
Something else that don't make sense about this movie. It's set in South Point, South Carolina. I feel like there should have been more of an accent by everybody involved.
Thank you. You just said that. I was like, Carolina, they definitely have an accent,
Yeah. I mean, even if you get to the more urban areas where they might lose it a little bit, there you get a little bit of it at the end of how they say things.
Not in this movie.
Yeah, not in this movie at all. But I'm just saying, that if they were going to set it there, that's what they should have had. What were you going to say in comparison between Ryan Felipe and Freddie Prinze Jr., or were you going to say anything between the two of them? I thought you were kind of going that route with what you were saying earlier.
No, I was just no, because we ended up agreeing, so we didn't have to.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have to go any further. It was yes, fucking Freddie Prinze was the worst. Ryan Felipe is good. He was not good in this film though, so that's what we agreed on. Okay,
yeah. Stuart Greer plays Officer Caparizzo, who's the bastard cop who pulls over Sarah Michelle Gellar in the movie. Brigitte Wilson Sampras, who was formerly known as Brigitte Wilson, resting bitch face, as I like to call her, because she always has it, although she's got hot resting bitch face in most of her movies. Plays Elsa Shivers, Helen's bitchy sister.
Dude, that's all she did was be a bitch in this film. Not once did she stop.
There's not one redeeming moment for that sister in this movie.
Watching her die was like relief. I was like, we're free.
She played another bitchy character in House on Haunted Hill that we previously covered. She's in Last Action Hero. Perhaps her most memorable moment is the hot teacher in Billy Madison.
Yes.
For at least guys my age. Though if she was in The Wedding Planner, which we have mentioned earlier, because I got that confused with another movie, but you really liked The Wedding Planner.
I did.
And she played Sonya in Mortal Kombat. She looks like the character, so that was actually good casting.
She did, and I was very upset because we didn't really get a good snatch grab from her.
That is true.
I was waiting for it. That was Sonya Blade was known for suffocating you in her pussy.
Yeah, that is.
And we did not get that. It was a sad day.
So many things they left out. And rounding out the cast is Sarah Michelle Gellar playing Helen Shivers as Julie's BFF and former Croaker beauty queen in the movie. Obviously known as for Buffy and Buffy Summers and Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV series. And she was also in Cruel Intentions with Ryan Felipe, and god damn, the character she played in Cruel Intentions, like
she did good.
Yeah, she did good. Did you ever see Not Another Teen Movie?
Yes.
They made fun of that character with with character in Not Another Teen Movie, and it's hilarious. But I mean, but Sarah Michelle Gellar knocked that character out of the park in that movie. She was Daphne in the Scooby-Doo live action movies. Did a pretty good job in those.
Yeah.
I mean, showed that she had comedic chops.
She outshines her husband.
Yes. She was also in Star Wars Rebels. She did the voice of one of the I forget what the Inquisitors, I believe is what they called them. Like,
I thought it was one of the Night Sisters for some reason.
The sisters, yeah, that's what they were, yeah. And she was in The Grudge 2 that we've previously mentioned. And she was also in She's All That with Freddie Prinze Jr., but she was in a small uncredited role in like a sequence in a cafeteria or something.
Wow.
I read. And then, of course, we've also covered another movie she's been in already, Scream 2, where she plays the best friend or kind of a friend or sorority sister in that movie. And then gets thrown off the top by, I believe it was Timothy Oliphant's version of the character. Here's my thoughts on Sarah Michelle Gellar in this movie. She should have been the final girl. She is better in this movie than Jennifer Love Hewitt's at acting in this movie, in my opinion.
That's a tough one.
Think about Jennifer Love Hewitt's in this movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scenes where she's literally just screaming for no reason.
I did put her down for best scream.
Well, I'm talking about screaming is then just frustrated screaming, not even like screaming in terror. I mean,
whereas Buffy Summers, aka
that scene where Buffy, we'll just or Sarah Michelle Gellar is being like, she comes home and her dad's got the beer, just vegging out to the game, and she has that moment where she's being stalked, but it turns out it's her sister.
Yeah,
there is real. I mean, that is one of the few scenes in the movie that feels well acted to me.
Yeah,
it really she stood out in that scene, and the scene where she dies. She's trying to get over her sister. Toward the end of the movie, she's beating on the door. She's trying to run from the killer. It's the only part of the movie that I was like, I wish she was the final girl in this instead of who we got.
Yeah, she put up a big fight. I mean, I guess it's just so hard for me because we know Jennifer Love Hewitt as the final girl of this film, and I don't know, for some reason, and I know Sarah Michelle Gellar is an amazing actress. I mean, we've seen her at her best, and we've definitely seen her at her worst, in terms of acting. She definitely has a range. She can do it. Yeah, she would have been, I don't know. Now I'm like, why didn't they pick her? What happened? And then there was a couple parts in the film where I was wondering why, if she had ever applied for the role of, Jennifer Love Hewitt's role, if she ever applied for her or Julie's role, and if they didn't give it to her, because was she already dating Freddie Prinze at the time?
There's some, I don't know. There's some stuff in the trivia about how they barely have any scenes together in the movie, which is hilarious, her and Freddie Prinze. But I saw this mentioned years back on the internet, so it's not like I can't claim this as original thought, but I did notice it when I was rewatching the movie for this podcast. The two people who are the best, and again, it's variations of the main four, are the people who die in this movie, and it's fucking sucks because if you would have reversed the roles and then had the other two die off, I think that this movie would have probably stood out more than it did, honestly.
Yeah. God, I don't know. I'm so torn on it. I don't think that Freddie Prinze and Jennifer Love Hewitt were the best, but I'm like, but they, I don't know. It's just, that's just what the film is to me, That's what you remember as.
Because when I'm watching this movie, because I don't have any nostalgia for this movie necessarily. I was strangely hit with nostalgia watching part 2, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
But, I was watching this one and I was just like, okay, it's fine. I don't hate it. Obviously Lover's Lane is worse than these. But I'm sitting there watching it and I'm just like, the scenes with Sarah Michelle Gellar stand out to me so much versus the ones from Jennifer Love Hewitt, at least in the first movie. And and I'm not drawing to Jennifer Love Hewitt in this movie at all. she looks like haggard in this movie.
Oh
in
my
a really
God.
bad way.
Yes. I was like, oh my God, she's fugly.
She is. And like, I mean, the way they did her bangs is one thing
Oh
that
my
looked
God.
really bad in this one. And she looks sick. Like she's got like dark, circles in her eyes, which I guess the character is supposed to. But those scenes where Sarah Michelle Gellar is like kind of acting like she's all anxious and she's kind of holding a cigarette and like kind of shaking and
yeah.
stuff. She sells that too. Like it's
Yeah.
not like, I mean, I just feel like they chose the wrong people to be the ones who died in this movie. Like,
I wonder, and do we have anything in trivia that kind of?
The trivia is awful on these movies. Like
Okay.
there's nothing there. Like I really was hoping that there would be more to them, but it's just like, no, here's a little bit of information about how, some of the people hooked up on the set afterward. And it's just like, wow,
Jesus
I didn't really
Christ.
care about that, but
Thank you.
Synopsis of the movie is: after a night of partying on July 4th, 4 teenage friends accidentally kill someone with their car. They do a little more than just kill him with a car, though. It's kind of funny that Scary Movie parodies this so well. They hit him. He's still alive. They throw him in the water, but instead of trying to save him at that point, they're like, no, let's fucking drown. It's like
we've committed.
But instead of informing the police and facing the consequences of their actions, they all swear an oath to never mention the incident again and dispose of the body. A year later, messages start appearing that indicate someone saw what happened and is seeking revenge. Low-cut tops, some decent blood effects, and plenty of bad acting follow. Unfortunately for Jennifer Love Huge Tits and her friends, this secret is about to kill them all. That's another one of the taglines, by the way.
It's better. Oh my God, excuse me. It's better than the first one.
Yeah, well, something interesting about this movie is that you're not supposed to really care about the main characters because they are pieces of shit when you get right down to it. Jennifer Love Huge Tits, a little less so because she did try.
Yes.
And actually Buffy's character did at a certain point, up to a certain point.
Yeah.
And then like she got convinced, she's like, no, we have to do this now. But they are pieces. They did kill somebody, and like they, I mean, the morality wise, like, every other movie we watch is a slasher movie. Like you side with the final girl because she's obviously, even if she's not like virginal innocent, like she didn't deserve any of the shit coming to her.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying none of these people deserve what is this Ben Willis is doing to them either, but like,
wait, didn't Ben Willis kill David Egan? Or did David Egan go to die there? Wait, because it started getting so mixed up and everything.
It gets convoluted, but the theory is that what David Egan's sister thought was like a suicide note was actually a death threat.
Yes.
From Ben Willis to David. So, because I read all this on the internet, I had to have it explained to me because I was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So Ben Willis had actually killed David Egan that night, and he was on his way back from killing him when they hit him with a car. So they did hit a killer and a serial killer at that, because in the second movie they expanded the lore and made it stupid. But he has killed multiple times. So there is that to it, but they still killed somebody. So it's not like they're these saints or whatever.
Oh, they get over it at the end of the film. I really thought we killed someone. We didn't kill someone.
Especially Barry, because Barry is he doesn't care that they killed somebody. He just cares that he got his football or whatever scholarship, which he doesn't look like a football player. So I don't know what actually he got in the college for, but he's not a football player, but we'll leave it at that. I don't know. Like in the original book, the reason that the lady doesn't like this movie is that she made it more of like a Hardy Boys type mystery or something. It's like they're trying to figure out who the person is that's threatening them. Everything else is set up the same way. They did run over somebody and all that, but like it's more of like a whodunit. And then when they made it into a slasher, she was just like, that's so crass. They're just going around killing people left and right. And it's like,
would you say it's like a Scooby mystery?
Yeah. Probably. I think Scooby-Doo actually has better mysteries than this one.
Probably.
Though, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Body count 6. And you know what's funny about this? I usually copy the last notes that I did and like for the format and then just go through and just like fill it out again. That's the exact kill count from Candyman.
Yeah. That's the max really with a hook, you know?
I thought it was hilarious. I was like, I did not have to change this number. It stayed the same.
Oh my God.
David Egan's thrown off a cliff and drowned by Ben Willis.
Question mark.
Yeah, question mark. I mean, they say it happened. Max is killed from a hook, undercut by Ben Willis. To me, that's the best kill in the movie because that is visceral, like the way Max gets killed. And it's undeserved because Max did fuck all to deserve being killed, but whatever. Barry Cox is stabbed at least 5 times with a hook by Ben Willis. Officer Caparizzo is stabbed in the stomach with a hook by Ben Willis. Elsa Shivers is slashed across the neck with a hook, and then her chest was incorrectly mentioned by Ben Willis. Helen Shivers is killed with a hook behind some tires by Ben Willis. And then our 2 final people in the movie, Freddie Prinze can't act to save his life, and Huge Tits. They take Ben Willis's hand off, but they don't kill him because he comes back. So, yes. I mean...
Spoiler alert. Actually, Freddie Prinze Jr. did act to save his life. He was in the next film. Also, spoiler alert.
No, he was awful in that movie. Don't even act like he did anything. He is you've got Brandy in that movie, and he's still worse than her. Like, I mean,
Brandy was a seasoned actress by this point. She was, and it's funny because she was put there to make Jennifer Love Hewitt look better, which is insane.
I'm going to imitate that comedian Tim. I believe Robinson's is the same. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Because we'll get to it.
Reverend, you obviously did not watch Moesha, and that just goes to show how racist you are. Kidding.
Obviously. I mean, I thought Sister was all right, but Moesha can go fuck it and run off a cliff or something. But quotes from this movie. The quotes are actually pretty funny from this because they're so bad. Ray, look, he's after me too. I got a letter.
Oh my God, that was so horribly acting.
That acting I just did is as good as what Freddie Prinze Jr. just did.
You know what we needed to follow right after that was some porn music and followed by like some kind of horribly shot porn scene because that's the kind of acting we were getting.
Oh, yeah, it was terrible.
Like, I got a letter. Ooh, you got a letter, big boy.
Well, it's funny. Barry, his response is, "Oh, you got a letter? I got run over." Helen gets her hair chopped off. Julie's got a body in her trunk, and you get a letter? That's balanced.
100%. I can't detect the lie.
Officer David Caparizzo. Oh, and did this killer use his hook to cut all your hair off? And then Helen was like, "No, he used scissors, asshole."
Okay, she told him.
Ray, I never knew her breasts were so ample. And he's talking about Sarah Michelle Gellar's character in the movie, which is hilarious.
Which is funny because at the beginning, I have to agree with him on this because were you with me at the beginning of the film? Immediately compared the two of their breasts, Sarah Michelle and Jennifer Love, side by side.
Throughout the whole movie, Sarah Michelle Gellar got my attention. I'm just saying, like, she, not even just acting. I mean, if you're going just for the visuals, she's the better visual in the movie.
Oh, God. Really, all you get from Jennifer Love is a little bit of chest, which I used to think, until I rewatched these movies, I used to think she had the biggest knockers. And she doesn't. Part two, they stand out a lot more. Reverend,
they really do.
I hate to bust your bubble there, sir, but that was a push-up bra.
Well, I'm just saying they stand out more in part
they
2.
Do.
That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. Now, she did have... Okay, the one thing I would say about... Go ahead.
And also, she's got a very small frame.
She does. So it stands out more.
She has huge tits for her frame.
She does.
I mean...
Because at the end of the day, when it comes to a push-up bra, you still need to have something to push up. You cannot have nothing. Sarah Michelle Gellar, I caught at one point, so I was comparing their chest, and I was like, okay, Sarah
Michelle Gellar is kind of thick, so she's nice all the way around.
She's nice all the way around, and she is not lacking in the boob department, and when she wore that green dress, she was looking a little extra booby in that dress. Also, a push-up bra, and I caught it because there was a part of the movie where she was sunken in. And so the cups were doing the rest of the work for her. Again, still gorgeous and everything. But I was like, why is she looking extra titterific in this scene? You know, I was looking at that. Now, for reference, all I can find on the interwebs is Jennifer Love Hewitt is a 34C. Now, I find that hard to believe because I'm a 32 in the back, and I know I'm shorter than her. I just feel like in pictures, you can definitely tell I'm thicker than her. I feel my best guess for Jennifer Love Hewitt would be she's a 32D. A 34 is Kayla wears a 34. She's thicker in the back than I am. And we're both the same in the cups. We're the same cups, but her cups are bigger because she has a bigger band on the back.
Okay.
So I don't know if Jennifer Love Hewitt was actually a 34D or a 32 double D, maybe even E. So that's my breast example. That's my breast guest.
Well, I'm glad Mrs. Skin, that you could break this down for us.
Yes, thank you. I was very into it. I've been wondering about her booby size forever because in the client list, her knockers are ginormous. And I know as we get older, and she is a little bit bigger, like not bigger, but she was thicker. She's not the size she was, when she was 18. And her boobs definitely got bigger, so she had a little bit more to pump up in those bras, and pump up in those bras is what she did for that show.
Yeah, she's put to shame in this movie, though, against Sarah Michelle Gellar. She just is.
Yes, she is. She's got no body whatsoever. She's got some knockers.
Yeah, and then she just looks sickly through most of the movie.
God, yeah.
And here, now this is you can say whatever you want to about this. Jennifer Love Hewitt, to me, her prettiest feature has always been her face, in particular her eyes. She's got these very beautiful brown eyes.
Yes.
You do not notice them in this movie whatsoever.
No.
You notice them. You notice them in part 2.
Yes.
They really stand out, and she's got a couple of scenes where I don't know what it is. She puts it out there, and I dug it. Is all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But in this movie, not at all. None of it. Was not on display. So
yeah, no, they were sunken in, looking, and she had Wednesday Addams' ugly sister vibes going.
She did, for sure. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it, honestly.
Yeah.
Ben Willis quote, "Happy 4th of July, Julie." And then Julie, terrified, "Please, it was an accident." And Ben, "I know all about accidents, and let me give you some advice. When you leave a man for dead, make sure that he's really dead."
Okay, thank you. I'll be going now.
Helen, come sit in the back. I'll let you do things to me.
Oh, yeah. And you know what, ladies? It works every time.
If you're trying to get your belligerent drunk boyfriend to keep from drunk driving you into oblivion, offer him something like that, and that's about the best thing you can do.
If I want to get my husband to do anything for me, he doesn't even have to be drunk. Not drunk, not tired, nothing. Hey, come sit in the back with me. I'll let you do things to me. Okay.
I still think back to Scary Movie when I hear that scene, because that's literally what, I think Shannon Elizabeth or whatever says to, the guy who's playing the Barry character in that. And then of course, Ray sticks his finger up his ass.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing. But Helen, "Well, Bob, at summer's end, I plan on moving to New York, where I'll pursue a career as a serious actress. It's my goal to entertain the world through artistic expression. Through art, I shall serve my country."
Jesus Christ.
That is such a terrible beauty. I know they're bad, but it's awful.
Well, she's like a beauty queen of a town that smells like fucking fish.
Well, then I guess she doesn't have to worry about the odor downstairs.
I suppose not, honey. That's just normal. Hope you got your slicker on.
And if this goes to show you anything, a lot of these quotes I've been giving you are from Helen. That's because I believe she does have the better quotes in the movie. Helen again, "Yeah, Jodie Foster tried this, and a skin-ripping serial killer answered the door."
Oh.
Elsa shivers to Helen, "You and your hair, it's so pathetic." And the reason I say that is because, A, that shows you how much of a bitch Elsa is. Secondly, there's a whole thing at the beginning of the movie where Helen is talking to Julie, and she says, whenever you go to be a lawyer or whatever you're going to be, you got to make sure you keep your hair up, because so many women don't realize that our beauty's in her hair and all that. So Helen, from the get-go, is it's established that she is all about making herself presentable. Her hair is her, like, Samson quality. And the fact that her sister narrows it, like at her weakest moment, narrows in on her hair is like the most bitchy fucking thing you can do. Like, because her sister knows how she is. So.
Yeah.
Julie, we need help. Barry, I'll say you two should check out a mirror sometime. You look like shit run over twice. And then Helen's like, you're a prick.
I mean, Jennifer Love looked like it, but
she did look like shit run over twice. Now, Sarah Michelle Gellar was looking good in that scene.
She was looking fine. Yeah.
He was just being a dick to her, but like it kind of fit for Jennifer Love Hewitt. Julie, why would he try to run you over? Why did he make coleslaw on Helen's head? He's fucking with us. He's just out there and he's watching and waiting. And then she screams, what are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
No. And a lot of bouncing going on, a lot of jiggly bouncing happening at this particular time.
And the funny thing is, that's not the only time that she does this, because there's a whole scene in the second movie at the grave scene where she says something almost exact same thing. It's like, bitch, don't call him out if you ain't going to fucking take him out. Like, don't do that.
Oh, my God.
Other taglines for this movie, because we got a lot of them, folks. He's got a hook on them.
I like that one. I like that one.
Welcome to Southport, the perfect small town, but beneath the surface, there are secrets that just won't stay buried.
TLDR.
From the writer of Scream comes a terrifying new experience that won't die.
TLDR.
What started as a new beginning is becoming a dead end.
It doesn't fit.
Nope. Not all secrets stay buried. I mean, that's not bad, but I feel like that describes so many other horror movies.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes they come back. That fits that perfectly. For the last year, 4 friends have kept a secret.
No.
That's just too generic.
Yeah.
Nobody saw him step out. Nobody saw them kill him. Nobody could imagine the terror to follow.
No.
That's way too long.
Yeah, TLDR.
If you're going to bury the truth, make sure it stays buried.
That's a good one.
That's actually not that bad. Someone knows their secret. Someone knows they're scared. And someone knows what they did last summer.
Okay, I like that one, even though it's long.
Someone's got a hook to wield.
So fucking cheesy.
Yeah, that one's bad. All right, let's discuss the movie we kind of have anyways, but visually. The kills are okay, I guess. They're samey because it's a hook.
Yeah.
Again, Max's death is the best, just because the power that he uses to like gut him through I think it's like the bottom of his like jaw through his mouth or something like that, like a fish, hooked him like a fish. And then the blood's in decent amounts in this movie, so it's not terrible that way. Watching it on 4K, I mean, they did a great job of the night scenes. Like they're lit the way they're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. The details are staying out. That scene where they're all on the beach and they're all like fucking basically. That it's actually it's a pretty scene. I mean, it's beautiful to look at.
That had to be a cold ass fucking scene.
It probably did.
Yeah.
The town, though, whenever they're in the town and they're traveling around, especially the middle of this movie gets to me so bad because it's so fucking, it drags a little bit. It's not bad. It's not like it's not like lit to the point. Like, I mean, like we talked about with a lot of these movies where it's just like, daylight and it, like a cheap movie. I mean, it's still a movie, but it's just like, it doesn't stand out. It's the night scenes of this movie that, I mean, because they really do good contrast with the blood and the darkness and everything else.
The town has kind of a drab look to it. It has a foggy look to it almost. It's not, there's no clear days really.
Yeah, and nothing really, I mean, nothing about the town stands out. It's just like any town USA anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, so, I mean, I don't know what'd you think about, like, we include this in visuals, the look of the killer? Like, what'd you think about, like, his look? I thought the black slicker and the hook and...
I liked it because it fits so well with the town. Clearly, they made it to where this town where people just fucking wear these things to go fucking to church on Sunday. And the hook is obviously very effective. There's a reason to have the boots. It's hard to find him because so many people dress like him. And I thought that the collar that went up so high with the hat that came down so low, I thought it worked really well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it did a pretty good, especially they hide his face with it.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how he fucking saw out of it, but, regardless of that, I mean, it stands out. One thing in particular, I always, in the middle of the movie where Barry's like working out, which is also parodied in Scary Movie, but where he's working out in that scuzzy like gym.
Yeah.
Like, do they not have any place that he can work? I mean, the guy's fucking rich. Like, he's got a fucking mansion. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that gym is pretty low key for him. That's all I'm going to say. Like I mean, it's a good look, but it looks weird that he would be there doing that.
It is. And, it's funny because so just a sign of where I'm from, where everything centers around California. Do you guys have towns like that out there?
If we have a town like, so we would have, like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say that where I live at is anywhere. I mean, it's more built up than the way they portray in that movie. Smaller towns like that, yes, but the gyms would be more like, like little like offshoots or like churches. So it didn't have that look to it. Like that's what threw me. Like we don't really have. We either have like the kind of gyms that you expect to have, like
24-hour
fitness, or whatever.
Pizza Planet.
Yeah, Pizza Planet. Or you have like just like somebody's church that's been converted into a gym, and it's just it might be a little dusty, but it's okay. Not that looks like somebody's like sex dungeon or something. Like I'm just sitting there thinking like, what the fuck? Like who works out in I mean, that looks like somebody's like converted garage or something like that they like made into a gym. And like, I just don't see that rich bastard doing that in that place.
Maybe not him, but okay. So in seaside towns, which we have a lot of them out here in California, we have a lot of areas on the beach, obviously.
The Fisherman might.
Yes. Well, there's not a lot of rich houses like what this kid lived in. They all live in the same type of homes. Everything's cruddy looking, especially because they're all surrounded by salt water, so everything's corroded, and everything really does look like that. So I think they did a really good job. I'm kind of glad they incorporated it because seeing that, it's like, this is really what those places look like. So yeah, they had to use the rich kid to show it. It's a little weird. I agree with you. He should have had his own gym, but I think the placement of it worked really well. For whatever reason, he liked that gym. Maybe that's how he grew up. Maybe that's where he went during high school, and it's like, okay. And then they showed it and put him in the right place at the wrong time.
The problem I have with that, though, is that he makes a point to Ray, and I was going to bring this up too during the this kind of bleeds into the story aspects of the movie. There's a whole haves and have-nots like under story that they don't develop, by the way, in this movie. And Ray is one of the have-nots. Like he tells Ray, he's like, you like hanging out with the rich kids or whatever, implying that both Helen and Julie, which I never got from them. I got suburban at best from them. Like, he's the only rich kid, but he implies that everybody but Ray is rich, and that Ray is a blue-collar kid that just got lucky because of his looks, got to hang out with the rich kids.
Yeah.
So Ray would have made more sense if they were going to have somebody working out in that gym.
Yeah.
But they didn't. I mean, and I don't know. It's just that there's certain aspects of the movie that don't. I mean, they threw in that whole like talking about the blue collar versus like the rich, but they don't do anything with it. And I don't even know why they put it in the movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That Barry's a rich asshole. Other parts of the story that I don't know, like they do a whole thing about like making it seem like that Egan is like the one who killed forever, and then it's Ben Willis, and then it's like, okay, well, we made a fucking mistake. It's like, I don't know, what'd you feel about that? I feel like that was a red herring that didn't need to exist in this movie.
The only reason I will say that I feel like it works is because these are teenagers that are stupid and don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they're trying to solve a mystery, and I feel like that's something kids would do. They would fuck up something like that, you know, if they were even to get as far as they got.
She did see that he died, so I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
But like, she didn't see that anybody else. Well, I guess they wouldn't have found him if he escaped or whatever. I mean, but nobody had like any hints at Ben. Like, I feel like Ben Willis comes out of nowhere in this movie. Like, who the fuck is he? Why is he suddenly like, you know, the killer?
Well, it worked because that was the body that was found, so they assumed it was the body of the person that they dumped, and it wasn't, because the body of the person Ben Willis was the body they dumped.
Yes.
And then, I'm sorry, I thought David Egan came out of nowhere. David Egan made sense to cover up for Ben Willis because Ben Willis never actually died. And they're like, oh, that's the body. That's
David Egan's body was the one that was found because he was killed by Ben Willis. Mm-hmm. But Ben Willis, he's a non-character in the movie. Like, they don't even, like, I was sitting there like researching. I'm like, when did he even, and the only time that he's ever revealed is that final scene where he's on the boat. And like, there was some kind of thing where like, David Egan's sister talks about how he went to meet with, and she gave a name, and it turns out it's the name of the boat that Ben Willis is
Billy Blue.
You know, Billy Blue. Yeah, he went to meet with Billy Blue, and it happened to be the boat that Ben Willis. But like, Ben Willis comes out of nowhere. Like, if it wanted to be a good whodunit, they should have introduced the possibility of Ben Willis like at some point in the movie.
They did.
When?
Okay.
When did they mention?
So, this is the backstory, and I don't know if this happened while they were, I think it was when they were talking to David Egan's sister, but the backstory is Ben's daughter, Susie Willis, was killed in a car crash that David Egan survived, and he blamed David Egan for that, so he went and killed him.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of the backstory that you're looking for. Do they go into detail? Absolutely not. And was it easy to miss? 100%, because I had to watch the movie twice to get the story.
I miss that every time because I swear to you, I fucking go to sleep during the parts with Anne Heche in this movie.
And there you
really
go.
do.
And that would make sense because, yes, it is very, I know, I like how they make it look very Texas Chainsaw Massacre-y, you know, at her home, but other than that, there's really nothing of interest, so I don't blame you. But yes, I managed to catch it.
Well, thank you for clarifying that, because that makes more sense, and that kind of ties in the second movie because his kids are the only thing that he brought with him from the Bahamas to that area. So the fact that his kids died, that meant so much to him, then of course he would go on a killing spree or whatever because of it. So, okay. I'm a little bit better on the story than in that case. It's just I've watched this movie several times and I keep missing that one little line that she says.
Oh God, it's maybe like 2 sentences, like literally what I read you. She says it so fast, and then she gets on to the oh God, it's just, I don't know. The scene happens so fast, and thankfully so, because you kind of just want them to get out of the house. You're like, okay, moving on. Yeah,
and then there's that little decent jump scare that she has or whatever, where she pops the window or whatever as they're sitting in the car and hands them their cigarettes back, or Helen's cigarettes.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, that's the only thing I got out of that whole scene was that little bit of a jump scare, you know? It's like, otherwise, I mean, they go there, they leave, Julie goes back later, and then I don't know. I've seen better whodunits is what I'm trying to say. Like, they give you a little bit more, and they give you better red herrings than what this movie gives.
Yeah.
We've already discussed the acting, but it's not the best.
It's not, but the one thing I will say about this film in general, and this is like almost a closing statement, but not really, because I know we're not done talking about it, but this film is very nostalgic for the time. And, like, this was a good time for me growing up. It wasn't, I mean, like, we all have our fucking shit we go through. But it was just nice to go back in this time and remember these actors and thinking, wow, we thought they were so cool, you know?
I don't know if I think what I don't like about this movie is that I think Scream is such a better movie.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
And this was obviously, you know, right after that. And I just like whenever it came out, I was just like, I just bounced hard off of it. I'm like, Scream's a way better movie. Why are we watching this?
I loved Scream. So Scream, like, obviously clearly fucked me up. But like this movie, I don't know, for some reason, I got a kick out of this movie. I got a kick out of Final Destination. These are movies that kind of came out around the same time that just little things that blew my mind. I was so easily entertained, I suppose, So it just reminds me of back in the days when we thought, well, it also makes me appreciate how much I've grown in terms of a horror fan to be able to look at this movie and be like, what the fuck was I thinking? To be able to appreciate what I thought back then, but also to be like now, like, okay, now I know what I'm looking for in a horror film.
The sad thing is that there are actually several July 4th like horror movies. Obviously the best one is the When Bad Animals Go Bad movie that we'll be covering, which is fucking Jaws. I mean, it's hands down the better movie.
Oh yeah.
But if you want to throw this on toward the end of the evening, kind of have it on the background, kind of laugh at while you drink. And, it's just not bad for that.
It's on TV. It pops on TV. It's a hot summer day. You got the or not day, but evening, and you got the windows open. Why not?
Yeah, just kind of enjoy it for what it is. I don't hate the movie. I have fun with it in certain ways. It's just, but when I'm watching it, I'm like, man, this movie.
It's hard now because you're like, oh my God, this acting is atrocious.
Yeah, I mean, especially Freddie Prinze. I have never seen somebody with as big a name as he had back in the day be that terrible as that.
Oh my God, he was god awful.
And the music. I actually enjoy the music in this movie because that is nostalgic for me. Like, that music takes me back big time. Like, it is of the time, completely.
Okay, hang tight real quick, because I know what you did last summer. Oh, come on. I want to see, because there was another song in there that I was like, oh my God, like, it's been so long since I've heard the song. Well, obviously, we talked about the Summer Breeze song at the very fucking beginning. So, let me see. God, they had The Offspring on this.
DUI, L7, This Ain't the Summer of Love.
Is this who I was thinking of?
The funny thing is these are songs that, like, you don't realize that you know until you hear them.
I'm playing a song, but I know you can't hear it. Nope, that's not the song I was thinking of. There was a song that was playing in the middle of this. I don't think it was maybe it was it was the second film. Never mind.
Yeah, the second one had a lot of stuff too in it. Clumsy is from Our Lady Peace. That's actually a pretty good band. So, I mean, and Korn had a song in this, Proud or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so Toad the Wet Sprocket. It actually had some decent 90s bands in it. I mean, but they were very like B-side type songs, like not ones that, I mean, the only one that stood out to me is obviously the one that it starts out on. I will give them credit for this. I love that intro. Like,
that intro is amazing.
Showing the sweeping vistas of like Southport, like the ocean and all that, like the cliff sides as you're playing that, typo negative Summer Breeze. Chef's kiss.
100%. Yeah, that movie, definitely kudos to them for that. They did a great job with that. And great pick of a song. Yeah,
it's just like a House on a Haunted Hill picking
Sweet Dreams.
Marilyn Manson. Yeah. I mean, it's perfect for what it needs to be. As far as I think we've discussed the movie, to be honest with you. I mean, I can't think of anything else. It's hilarious that Scary Movie I feel like Scary Movie doesn't replace Scream by no means, but it replaces this movie.
Oh, it replaces this movie. Yeah, because I can't take this film serious anymore. I mean, you even have Anna Faris doing the titty bounce. What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
Yeah. So,
and she does it better.
She does do it better, and I don't know. And it's funny because this is coming from someone who loves Jennifer Love Hewitt. Now, I didn't love Jennifer Love Hewitt as so much a teen actress. I did love her in her more mature type situations. I don't know why I liked Ghost Whisperer. I do not recommend watching that show. But I loved it. I watched every single one, and my husband's like, his excuse or his reasoning he thinks behind it is that Mexican women love that show because we think it's true. And there might be some truth to that, but I guess there was another older white man who just adored Noah for being married to a Latina, because he married a Latina. He captured a Latina. And his wife would just fucking watch that show nonstop. And he'd be like, why are you so obsessed with the show? She's like, mijo, pero it's true. It's true. You know? It's like, I don't say that, at least not in that accent. But there's definitely some behind the scenes where I'm like, if I had my Grandma Beans here, we'd be discussing this. And Grandma Beans like, ay, mija, that happened, you know?
That's pretty cool. Trivia for this movie, because there's not a lot of it. Kevin Williamson wrote this script, like I said, before Scream, but was unable to sell it. Following the success of Scream, Columbia Pictures immediately bought I Know What You Did Last Summer, and this is the reason many critics and fans felt this was a huge step down from its more clever and innovative Scream scripts, because it's like this is his rough draft, and then like Scream is his final product, basically.
I think this movie, it feels like maybe he wrote it before Scream. He couldn't sell it, great, but he didn't update it or edit it or make any kind of changes to, I don't know. I feel like this movie could have been better.
If you remember, because the turnaround for Scream 1 and Scream 2 was so fucking tight that he was literally working on Scream 2 while Scream was in the theaters.
Okay.
And so like he had no chance of
Okay. I'll give him that. I mean, it's not the worst of scary films that I've seen, in my opinion.
No, I mean, it's definitely not the worst.
It's not the best, but it's not the worst.
No. Even though the characters Helen and Ray share a lot of scenes together, they only speak to each other twice. When Ray says, "How do you know that?" and Helen says, "Missy said there was a friend named Billy Blue." And then around 1 hour and 2 minutes, and then Ray saying, "No, it's not true. No, it's not. It's true, Helen." And then she says, "Yeah, I don't think so, Ray," at around 10 minutes. That's literally all the interaction they have in the entire movie. But despite that fact, they became good friends after meeting on this film, and then that's whenever they actually started dating and married. And then they're one of those Hollywood couples that stayed together.
Yeah.
So I gotta give them credit for that. I mean, if nothing else.
Also, I want to point out, because it's the only time I'll be able to point this out, and I don't think you can even argue with me, that was some of his best acting, because he was the person who gave the name Billy Blue because it was the name of his boat, and when Sarah Michelle Gellar said it, his face didn't flinch. Not a oh crap, you guys went there?
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that, but his face is blank through most of the movie, so it's not. I mean, that's acting by. That's the absence of acting helping him in a roundabout sense.
In the back of his head, you just hear
yeah, or the hamster song from back in the day was playing on repeat in his head.
Oh God, I remember that website. Did you go there? I used to love that. And the hamster. I wonder if that's still like a thing. I'm going to go to hamsterdance.com. Anyways, go ahead.
The ice inside the storage of the boat was actually made of gelatin so that Jennifer Love Huge Tits didn't damage her huge tits and she could comfortably move around inside.
Wait, what? Say that again?
The ice that's inside the boat toward the end of the movie is actually gelatin, so that so she wasn't actually like dealing with like cold ice and having to worry about that
and stabbing somebody's eyes out with her nips. I think they did a good job with that. It looked legit. I think they also did a good job with the bodies in the ice to make it look like they were bodies in ice.
Yeah, we didn't cover that, but yeah, the dead bodies in this movie, especially Max is inside the car with all the crabs in it. That scene's actually gross.
Like, it is. Gross. Yeah, you can hear the clinking of the crabs.
The one thing that I like about that scene is that at the beginning of the movie, they're talking about the hook killers, like the story behind it, and they keep talking about they give different versions of the knocking that you hear, the scraping on the car.
Yeah.
And they play on it in that scene because she keeps hearing the clicking.
It does sound like scraping. It's the crabs with their fucking little crabby feet.
Yeah, so I like that scene. I do actually like that.
Yeah.
Writer Lois Duncan was, like I said, vehemently opposed to her young adult novel being reworked into a slasher film, stating she was appalled in one interview. This was this sucks. I will agree with her on this. This is due to the fact that her youngest daughter was murdered by an unknown assailant in 1989, and she says, as a mother of a murdered child, I don't find violent death something to squeal and giggle about.
Okay.
So I can give her a little bit more credence in that sense.
Okay, but I mean, you can't. I guess it's your story, so that is fucked up. But for other people, I don't want to take away from what triggers her, but before she experienced what she experienced, I'm sure there was a point of her life where she potentially may have enjoyed that or understands how people enjoy it.
Well, here's the other thing. Her name is, and it's probably one of those things like characters written by or whatever. Her name is associated with the writing credits for I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and that has way more graphic deaths in this movie in a lot of cases. Mm-hmm. So if she signed off on that, then it's kind of like you're being a hypocrite.
It is, and I was thinking money talks, so.
Yeah. Jennifer Love Huge Tits had just appeared alongside former Scream Queen Jamie Lee Curtis in House Arrest prior to filming this movie, and was surprised to see she was also filming a movie in North Carolina at the same time that Jennifer Love Huge Tits was. Jennifer said that Jamie Lee Curtis came over to the soundstage to wish her luck on her first horror film and would come over every other day after that to give her a hug.
Oh my God, how fucking lucky, you fucking whore. Who gets that kind of treatment? Ugh, disgusts me.
Death Holler Awards. What do we think about our final girl, Julie James?
I mean, she is the final girl of these films. Like, it sucks. Can I see Sarah Michelle Gellar, Buffy Summers being it? Yeah, but she didn't. And I'm like, I just wonder why. Like, I wonder what about her tryout or her whatever that they were like, nope, you're going to be this girl, you know?
The only thing I can think of is probably time commitment because Buffy was in the mix. So
that makes sense. Okay. And am I upset that it's Jennifer Love Hewitt? No, not really. I think that it just is what it is. It's one of those films where it's like I don't have any regrets about it, you know?
The thing I'll say about her is of the pantheon of final girls that we have covered, she is near the bottom for a couple reasons. She doesn't really kill the killer except in the second movie.
Yeah.
So in this movie, it's a non-issue. She doesn't do the job she's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And she has to have the help of a man,
yes.
Which is like the opposite. I mean, I know that happens in some of the ones we've covered, but if you look at what she actually accomplishes in this movie, it's jack all fuck shit. Like, I mean, there is nothing that she really does.
As a person who owns a vagina, I would say that at that young of an age, I probably would have relied on the help of a man or was hoping that a man would come to save me if I were ever put in this kind of situation.
I would say that every final girl would agree with you no matter what their age, but they still stood their ground and they took the killer out.
Yeah.
She doesn't. And she doesn't, it's not even, and she doesn't even get the blow on him that takes his hand off to makes him the hook-handed killer in the second movie. Ray gets that because he's the one that like unleashes the cell that takes Ben up. So she does nothing to the killer in this movie.
Yeah, literally she just escapes to survive and it kind of sucks.
All she does in this movie is literally call him out in that one scene that's so famous. What are you waiting for? And so of all the final girls, she talks the most shit, but she doesn't do anything
about it. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks.
And we've already talked about how she's kind of complicit in being like morality wise.
Yeah.
Like she's not like all the other final girls, like they just kind of fall into a bad situation and have to deal with it. She kind of helped create this in a roundabout way. What do we think about Ben Willis as the hook-handed slasher?
I liked him. I thought the guy was very menacing. I knew the story, so I was like, okay. I mean, like, I think his story is crazy enough to This guy was already going crazy. I mean, he has already just tried to kill a guy just because maybe he was responsible for his daughter's death.
I'll give him credit. He's probably the most believable, though, because it's like you get people on, just like the Joker always says, that one bad day or whatever, and then they become like a killer. And like he's, out of all the people, of all the other slashers, he's probably the most likely. I mean, Freddy kind of started out as a slasher, but I'm saying, or like a murderer, but like of somebody just to break bad all of a sudden and start killing people, he makes the most sense of all the ones we've covered.
He looked the part, he played the part, his voice was, everything about him was all encompassing of a slasher. So
and he's got a good look, so as far as that goes, best kill in the movie for me is Max. Who did you think? I could see the argument for Sarah Michelle Gellar's, although it's kind of off screen a little bit. It's kind of hid.
It kind of sucks because it's right there. Like, she was so close. I don't know why she turned around at the last minute, to look back. That was her demise. For me, I was going to say the one that made me feel the best is it Elsa?
Yes, she deserved it. For sure.
Yes. So that, to me, it wasn't the best death, but it was the one that I feel so much better.
You got what you deserve, bitch.
Yeah.
Best scream in the movie. Obviously it's Julie.
Yes.
The Sarah Michelle Gellar, I guess she kind of screams at one point when she's being chased, but like,
it's
not a vulnerable scream. It's more like, I like the kind of, it's more like a scream that you give like whenever you're just trying to find help, but not like you're at your lowest point and you have to have like some outlet for like, what's built up inside of you or whatever. It's not like that. So.
Yeah, I would say that Julie genuinely sounded scared every time. It was like she legitimately got scared every time she would scream. Like she wasn't expecting that to pop up in front of her.
Especially that scene where she opens up the crab, pit in the back of her car and Max's dead body. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah.
We've already covered they're not shown, sadly, but of the cleavage that we could see, it's Helen. It's Helen in this movie who has the best boobs.
Yeah, I'm that green dress really knocked the knockers out of the water in this movie. That was it for me.
What do you think's best side character in this movie? I don't think there was any animals that you could give this because I know you like to do that, but I don't remember any of them unless you want to list that crab that was like crawling up on top of Max.
You fucker, because that's exactly what I was going for. I was like, the crab that was crawling out of what's his name's mouth. Not Max, but the one
Mr. Krabby. We'll give the award to him.
Eugene Krabs, best side character, and he has a sideways walk, so there's that.
Have you seen that stupid TikTok trend where they put like the decals on their car that looks like a cigar, an old timey fedora, and they're like sitting there doing this number, like waving their fingers behind the cigar? Have you seen that?
No.
It is the most fucking retarded thing. I don't know why it started popping up. I'm like, what in the algorithm gave this to me? Like, what is
happening? What am I not understanding?
They are sitting in their car and somebody's got so like if you're looking through like somebody's like, winch or like side mirror or not mirror, but like they're just the window, the side, passenger, driver side, whatever. They put a decal up of like a cigar, like at mouth level.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And then they put like a little like fedora hat where your head would be, and then as you're driving past them, you can look over and they're like doing this number where they're just kind of like,
oh no,
like
fuck
spirit
off.
fingering the cigar, and it's so fucking stupid.
Dude, doing a little
I'm
finger
like,
job.
This is a Gen Z thing if I've ever seen it.
Fucking
like,
dumb.
I mean,
no, I'm good.
When you was talking about the crab walking sideways,
yes.
I thought of those, like when
I did the fingers.
Yeah, like but like almost like the old timey gangsters or something.
Yeah,
like as they're doing that.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna give Max the best side character because the fucker didn't deserve what came to him.
Yeah.
And Franklin Award, I'm gonna give to Ray because I couldn't stand that motherfucker every time he popped up on screen. I'm like, you can't act. You don't have a point in this movie. Get the fuck out.
He's so adorably dumb. Like, he's a real party, but he's real dumb.
Yeah, and that works for Fred, but it doesn't work for this.
No.
I mean, he's good in the Scooby-Doo movie because that's all you want out of Fred.
Look at this is how do we deal with him? Like, it's like I don't know how she deals with him.
That's actually a very appropriate song for this movie and that character in particular, even though it actually fits with the second movie because that's when it was.
Yeah, that's when the song. Yeah.
How annoying is the Doom Prophet? The Doom Prophet is Julie in both these movies, and she's annoying as fuck.
She is. She's annoying. Titties and all.
Yeah, I mean, give me Crazy Ralph. I'd rather see him than Julie. I just really would.
That is bad.
Dumbest moment in the movie: not calling the fucking cops whenever you ran over somebody. How about that? I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty fucking stupid. I mean, yeah, they could have faced some consequences, but I mean,
they faced consequences anyways. It sounds like.
Yeah, and then what are you waiting for? That's fucking so stupid in this movie.
Fucking over it.
I love it, but it's stupid.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about this one before we wrap this one up, and we'll pick it up next time for the sequel to this movie?
Well, just want to recap that. The only thing I will give this movie is that I appreciate the time era it's from. Some of the member berries. I wouldn't even say member berries. There's not member berries in this film, but some of the nostalgia that it brought. I mean, living in California where there's a lot of seaside towns like this, I don't know, a lot of things seemed possible, if you will. It seemed legit, and I was just rewatching this, and I was like, man, I don't know, it just took me back. So that's what it gets from me. It's not the greatest film ever. If it's on TV, I might let it play in the background. It's not on the rewatch list per se, but I wouldn't be like, ugh, and change the channel immediately.
I appreciate the fact that it exists because some of my favorite funny scenes in Scary Movie only exist because this movie.
Okay, that too. Yeah.
That scene where it would have been Sarah Michelle Gellar's character on stage watching Barry die up on the in the balcony section is so hilarious in Scary Movie because as soon as they tell her that she's won, she doesn't give a fuck that he's dead.
She's like, give me my fucking crown. I do want to also thank this film for existing because if this film did not exist, Scary Movie 2, it would be missing what like a quarter of the film?
Scary Movie 1, yes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Scary Movie 2's got that great exorcist scene and
all
the other stuff in it. So but we're going to wrap that one up, folks, and you can catch us next time for the sequel. So with that, peace be with you.
And with your spirit.